Hi guys, it's your girl Fiona. I'm back with another video. I hope you guys are all doing so well. Now in this video I'm going to attempt to make some same day focaccia. Now I've been craving some sandwiches, and as you know on this channel I like to make things from scratch. So I'm going to be attempting to make some focaccia bread, and for those who know, it can be done over like 24 hours. You do some proofing in the fridge, but I'm going to be trying making it over the next few hours. Anyway, yeah, I'm going to be trying to make it because I want sandwiches the next day, and hopefully this recipe will work out really well. Anyway, we're going to start. I'm in the kitchen, so that's a good start at the moment. And yeah, follow along. If you like videos that's about cooking from scratch as well as other things, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to my channel. I post videos about my life, about cooking from scratch, and I'm also at university, so I've got a lot going on. Anyway, stay tuned and let me show you how I make this focaccia and how it turns out. Now, before we want to make this bread, we want to bloom our yeast. So into the bowl, I'm going to put some warm water, about 420 grams. So let's put that in. I'm going to put 420 grams. Nice warm water. That's about 340. And it doesn't have to be too hot. Otherwise, you will kill your yeast. Okay, so that's about 420. Okay, so now you want to add 5 grams of honey. This will activate the yeast. And then you want to put 7 grams of your dry action yeast or dry active yeast. A fresh packet here. Give it a nice stir and see if it blooms. If it doesn't bloom, then your yeast is not that good and you have to start again. So let's wait a little bit. Let's wait about 5 minutes. Okay, so that's been about 5 or 10 minutes. So now I want to add about a tablespoon of olive oil. This is a big spoon, but we're going to measure it out as a tablespoon. Just about that much. Give it a mix. And then you want to add your strong bread flour. Now I've just got this from the supermarket. Yeah, strong bread flour. It's quite a good option to use. So I'm going to zero out my scale. Open this up, and I'm going to add about 500 grams of strong bread flour to this mix. Here we go. It's a lot, so let's add that. Just a little bit over, but that's okay. I'm going to give that a fold. I'm just going to add a little bit more flour because it's looking a little bit wet. Okay, so the few things I'm going to do next is to ensure that this bread can be baked same day. And I'm going to add some salt, and I'm also going to add sprinkle in some baking powder. Now this is the trick so that you can make it the same day. So here we go. So I'm going to sprinkle in a little bit of salt. About 5 grams, not too much. And I'm going to sprinkle in some baking powder. Not too much, just a little bit. I'm going to give that a bit of a mix. Now I'm going to cover that. I'm going to leave it to settle for about 15 minutes, and then I'm going to do some stretch and folds. So see you soon. Okay guys, it's been 15 minutes, so I'm going to stretch and fold this. You want to stretch and fold. First I'm going to wet my hands. Wetting your hands makes it easier for your stretch and folds to be less sticky. So I'm going to give this a go. The first stretch and fold is always going to be a bit sticky, and then as you do more stretch and folds, it comes together a little bit more, hopefully. So let's see how this gets on. So I'm going to stretch and fold, and I'm going to put this away again for another 15 minutes. This is the third stretch and fold, and because of the heat, it is really rising quite quickly. So we're doing okay. Anyway, I'm going to get on with the third stretch and fold, and I'm going to do one more, probably one more after this, and I'm going to let it rise for about an hour, which you probably don't even need. But anyway, let's do the stretch and fold. Look at that already. Let's wet my hands. Let's get this stretch and fold done. Okay, I'm gonna let this cover. I'm gonna cover this up and we're gonna do a last stretch and fold in the next 15 minutes. Oops. Okay, this is my last stretch and fold. So let's wet our hands. You know the drill. My hands are wet, so let's do this. Okay, so that's done. I am going to add some olive oil. There's a little olive oil around. I think that's a bit too much, but yeah. And then I'm going to let this rise for 1 hour. It's doing good in this heat, so you want it to double in size, so I have no qualms with this doubling. It's doing its job. So yeah, let's report back in about an hour. See ya. Hi guys, it's voiceover Fee, and I thought I'd come in on the mic because yeah, the battery to my wireless microphone, yeah, it was kaput. Anyway, this is an hour after a little bit of rising, and as you can see, it really has doubled in size. So we can get going with the rest of making this focaccia bread. And what I'm doing now is I'm just adding some olive oil to the top of the bread, and yeah, I'm gonna give it a nice stretch and fold, the very last one. And the yeast has done so well with this bread, I'm really quite happy. But actually, if you think about it, it's really hot in the UK, so it's really going to do the job in such a short amount of time, which I'm happy about. Anyway, this is my last stretch and fold before I put it in the pan, and yeah. Okay, so I put mine in the baking tray, but if you've got something dedicated to this, which is a bit more suitable, by all means use it. I use a baking tray because it was the right size for me. So yeah, I use a baking tray and I lined it with a bit of parchment paper so that the bread is easy to come out once it's done, once it's been in the oven, and yeah, it's done its thing. So yeah, I lined the parchment paper on the baking tray, ready for it to go in the oven. Okay, but before that, I put a little bit of olive oil on the bottom of the tray, and yeah, I just get my dough ready for this process. So yeah, the olive oil is going into the tray, and yeah. So yeah, here's my bread coming into the tray, and yeah, I also shape it as well. So you can shape it or you can keep it the way that it is at the moment in time. And yeah, this is practically the second to last stage before the bread goes into the oven. So yeah, here's me attempting to shape it, but then it got a little bit messy, so I just decided to shape it into the shape of the tray. And then after this basically sits on the countertop for another hour for it to rise. So you can find another baking tray and then put it on top and leave it for another hour to proof. You'll see that it will rise really nicely after that hour. So yeah, after the hour, it's looking like this. Oh, it's looking so beautiful. So yeah, here comes the interesting part, or the exciting part, whichever you'd like. And you got to put your dimpling in. So I put a little bit of olive oil on the top of the bread, just a little bit, not too much, because we've had a lot of oil in this bread. But then what I done, I put some oil on my fingers, and yeah, I done this so that I can start dimpling my bread. Now this is the excellent part, or this is the exciting part. So yeah, some people like it, some people don't. I enjoy it, but I just then poured my bread, and yeah, as you can see, some of the bubbles are coming up, and yeah, it's looking really nice. So I decided to add some toppings. I really like black olives, and I had it on deck, so yeah, I added it to my bread. And instead of some rosemary, I had some thyme, which is a little bit barky, a little bit barky. So I just clipped off some of the leaves, and for the other bits, I just took off the little bit of the leaves by just running my fingers over it. So yeah, this is what it looks like, and this is almost ready to go in the oven. So yeah, looking really nice. I added some salt, some sea salt would be great, or if you've got some pink Himalayan salt, which would be even better. So yeah, now this is ready for the oven. So I put this in the oven for about 20 to 30 minutes because it's quite a big bread at the moment, and I put it on the oven for about 180 to 200 degrees Fahrenheit. Anyway, look how this looks. Oh my gosh, after it being in the oven, it looks so delicious. Did you hear that? That was so nice and crispy. Anyway, I was gonna wait till the next day to make a sandwich, but I wanted to see how this worked out, so I started making a sandwich so late at night. But anyway, here we go. So I wanted to make a chicken and bacon loaded sandwiches. So I actually got my toppings ready. I got my tomatoes, got my onions, got my cheese. Yeah, it was a whole show. I added some pesto as well. So yeah, here's me preparing my vegetables. Okay, so here's the pièce de résistance. Oh my gosh, here is the bread. Oh wow, it looks so amazing. And yeah, I let it cool for about 5 minutes until I tucked in. Anyway, I got my little bread knife, got situated, and I gave it a little bit of a cut through to see how it is. And as you can see, the bread looks so nice on the inside, so nice and crispy on the outside, and lovely and fluffy on the inside. So yeah, I made my sandwich. I really cannot wait for this. Yeah, so I realised that was a little bit too small, so I got the big dog out. And yeah, let's look at this bread again. Oh my gosh, so nice and fluffy on the inside. Anyway, let's get going to load this sandwich up. Yeah, it's looking really nice. Okay, so it's a little bit late now, but we have our sandwich and it's looking so nice. So I'm gonna taste test it and tell you how it is. It's huge. So I've loaded it up with pesto, chicken, a bit of salad, some cheese and some bacon, and it tastes so nice. Yeah, I'm enjoying this. Okay guys, that's the end of the video. I'm so glad that you stayed all the way through. And yeah, that is basically about it. So yeah, guys, tune in another time where I show you what I cook from scratch. Okay guys, see you later.